30 years of doing this. Every time I've seen you do it, you've poured all your energy into it. You've been 100%. You've almost made it seem like it was your very first time performing a show, because that's the level of energy you brought to every show. How do you keep that stamina and energy 30 years and still keep it fresh?
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that question. And it's very much at the heart and foundation of why I am still there, and why I think I'm still there, even though I tap that line a little bit, the boundary of like staying on script. I've had many, many wonderful managers, supervisors over the years, and there is that duality. They say, hey, one of the things that you do really well is you absolutely, every show is like it's the first time. And so we really appreciate that. The other thing is you probably take more liberties than we feel comfortable. And I'm going to talk about the process.
Yeah.
But I'm going to honor that other part where they say you take more liberties, because I do have a deep respect for what they have to do. And in particular, when it comes to wrangling Greg Dolph, it's not an easy chore. What I always try to let them know is I have a deep respect for that. It's quality control. And we have bosses that then have to answer to Universal. And Universal wants to make sure that what goes out there has been approved. And so it's hard to go, we have performers that are doing things that have not been approved. They want, like, what are they saying? What are they saying? And so our supervisor is saying, hey, Greg, every time that you like go off script, it puts us in a place where Universal says, hey, we saw a show the other day and Greg Dolph was saying this. And then my supervisors, I had one of them tell me in a meeting, he goes, I saw a Deacon the other day and the Deacon did this. And then my supervisor goes, which Deacon was it? And if they go, it was Greg Dolph, then he'll go, yeah, we're working on a few things to cover for me. He goes, I've covered for you so many times. So to all of my supervisors, all of our dear managers, directors, and supervisors that have had to stand up for me and for what I do out there, I just want you to know I love you to death. And I have a deep respect and for you and for what you do in wrangling me. And thank you for letting me be who I am. And within guidelines, we get this done together. And I really, really love and appreciate you. Here's the process.
Yeah.
I had to kind of put it in words because so I went off in 21 during the pandemic to direct the latest WaterWorld in Beijing. So I went over there and I was over there for 6 months. And then we have a WaterWorld in Singapore, we have a WaterWorld in Beijing, we have a WaterWorld in Japan, and then we have the original in Hollywood. And during that time period in 21, they were coalescing once again all of those scripts and trying to unify them and say, we want everybody saying the same thing. Obviously, there's going to be translations in Mandarin and in Japanese, but we want to make sure, apart from some of the cultural modifications, that everyone is saying the same thing as far as the English translation. So I come back to Hollywood. I had to audition again after the pandemic to get back into the show. And then we have a whole new set of managers here. And their mandate was keep them on script. And so some of the very first shows I did, I was being me and still innovating and trying to find new things while staying largely on script. And I kept getting notes on it. And they said, look, we've been told you guys have to stay absolutely on script. So Greg Dolph wrote a manifesto. It was called A Case for Some Creativity. And I gave it to he's a lovely, lovely man. And our current manager, he's actually been there ever since we've come back from the pandemic, or shortly after that. He's a very, very good person. And actually, he and I have gotten along very, very well. And one of the things I love about his directing style was that he didn't come and say, don't do this. He said, will you tell me what this that you're doing, what that does for the show? How do you think that helps the show? And I so love and respect that, because it wasn't just you're outside of the script, don't do it. It was you're breaking that line. Why are you doing it here? And what value do you see in that? And to all future directors, that's what an actor wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because if I can't justify it, it doesn't belong. But if an actor can justify, no, I wouldn't suggest this for somebody doing Shakespeare. Stay on script. But these live shows where they vary and they move, they're fluid. So the process was I had to say, first of all, I don't want complete freedom. but there are two specific places where I'd like the freedom to explore a little bit. One of them that keeps the show fresh is what I call same for same. And the example, Brandon, would be, you won't ruin my plans for dry land. You're not going to ruin my plans for dry land. You will not ruin my plans. So I can change, or to Helen, I could say, you want to play games? Let's play games. Oh, Helen likes games. Let's play games. Helen, do you like games? I like games too. Let's play. See how these are same for same. Yes. It's my way of going, what do you want this moment to be? And as long as I don't take up more time, can I say it slightly differently? That puts in a little bit of variety. It creates a spark in the other person's eyes because Greg isn't saying the same thing he said 2,000 times. Now I'm saying something slightly different, and they have to, it just wakes everybody on stage up just a little bit. So same for same. And then the other area where I ask for a little bit of creativity, it's where some of my biggest laughs come from, actually. The show is systematically set up to be a stunt show. And so if you look at it, there's stunt, 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 stunt. Our job as the Deacon is to, obviously, we play a story role as the major antagonist, but our major role, theatrical role, is to create focus where it needs to be so that in this massive 3,000 seat arena, people know where to look. It's kind of like watching a tennis match because there may be a stunt up there and then it's here and then it's over here. So they keep coming back to the circus ringmaster, which is the Deacon. We're mic'd up to be able to send focus to each of these stunts. So part of our job is to go, hey, everybody, and we do it different ways, either through line or physical association. Look at this stunt. And then there's a gap between that stunt and the next one. And there's a moment right after this stunt is done, right here, before we throw focus to this stunt, where we can make a comment about the failure of our henchmen, right? So they do a stunt, I can make one quick comment. Then I set up the next stunt. They do the stunt, I can make. Now, obviously, the script has some of those already in there. There are some already built in the script. Some of them we created in the first 3 years, and they went, keep that, because it adds color and character relationship between the Deacon and his horrible team of henchmen who are failing at every single moment. So same for same and being able to do a little color commentating. Those are the two things that I asked for a little bit of freedom. And then I created what I called my rules. The biggest rule is I can't create something that draws focus to me if focus isn't on me. So I need to make sure that whatever I create sends focus. I can't pull focus from where focus needs to be. So every Deacon needs to know exactly where the focus should be so that we don't break that rule. And the last one, I said, I don't want freedom to change the entire script. So I called it the tax rule. So I said, I need to make sure that 90 to 95% of the script is exactly the way it's written. And on any given show, I just want to be able to play a little bit with 5 to 7% for variety. So that was a long-winded answer.
I love that.
But for anybody interested in what instruments and tools I use to try to keep the show fresh and continue to evolve the show so that this year we're still discovering things that were never in the show before. Yeah. And a new audience can come each year and they go, oh, I haven't heard that line. Is that new? It's like, yeah, we've been playing with that.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to how we try to keep it fresh and alive.
So speaking on script, one of my favorite parts also is when you feel like the mariner has gone into the water and you're like, yes! And it's like, that's like your little moment of silence and everyone seems to pour out a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
I love that part. One other thing I want to say, when I had Joey on, we were talking about this line and we both couldn't get it right.
We're going to pave it and drive it, tax it and tithe it. Sweet Joe above, we're going to use it, cruise it, fill it, drill it, and build an 18-hole monument to my beloved self.
And there it is, Joey.
Yes, Joey. Yeah, you guys got stuck up on. You guys kept going. We're going to tax it and we're going to fill it, drill it. And I was like, no, pave it and drive it, tax it and tithe it.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
The one that's interesting there is that fill it, drill it. And I've always thought, well, that's the way it was written, but shouldn't it be drill it and then fill it?
Yeah.
Fill it, drill it? I don't know. It seems like that's sort of putting the cart before the horse, but